Hey everyone, it's Jack, and today I want to take a look at Voyager. Voyager, which is a Ubuntu-based Linux, which looks really super interesting. I'm out at the Voyager website right now, and the Voyager is currently based on the new 22.04 Ubuntu release, which was just released not too long ago. But the thing that I find really interesting about Voyager is that it is kind of like a dual desktop distro. It has Xfce and Gnome 42 in one install. So that's really cool. So you can choose between two different sessions. According to what I read here, it seems that they have them very separated too. So they're not like overlapping or interfering with each other. So that really especially caught my attention. I was like, man, I got to try that out. Definitely something I want to take a look at. And oh, geez, I almost forgot. I got a reminder here. And yes, I was watching Derek Taylor Swift's video yesterday, and he was actually doing a video on Unity, and he was saying how much he liked Unity because of the layout, the way they have the taskbar over on the left-hand side, and on top of that, the window buttons are also on the left-hand side, and he likes that because he doesn't have to go all the way to the right-hand side of the monitor. And when I saw that video, I was like, whoa, I just had this epiphany. And so, I just got to call him and let him know, because I went and did something last night. So let me just pull him up here real quick and get him on the phone. And I'll try to patch him in too, so I can share this with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to take up all this extra time, but I just got to get this done real quick.
Hello?
Hey, Derek, what's up? It's Jack.
Who?
Jack Keeper.
I never heard of ya.
You know, that YouTuber guy that...
Oh, yeah, that goofy. Oh, okay, yeah. So, what can I do for you?
Well, hey, I was watching your video the other day, and I thought it was really cool about the bar being on the left-hand side and the window buttons on the left-hand side, and how you hate going over to the right-hand side with your mouse because it's so far. So, yeah, I kind of broke into your office and left you a surprise.
You're not supposed to be breaking into other people's offices. What are you talking about? That's not cool. I had to call the cops on you.
Well, no, wait, I left you a surprise in there.
A surprise?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I can make an exception.
Cool. Oh.
Yeah, I'm almost in my office right now, so I'll just go in there and I'll call you back.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll wait for you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, well, I'm inside my office now, but, I don't really see anything different, so what's this big surprise?
Oh man, you're gonna love it. What I did was, I went in there and I was thinking, you hate the right side so much. So I had the perfect idea. I was like, man, I know how to solve your problem. So I went in your office last night and brought a chainsaw with me, and I sawed all your monitors in half and I got rid of the right side. So now you got pure left. And so it's perfect. You never have to worry about the right side again. How cool is that? What do you think? You gotta check it out.
Oh my God, my monitors! What have you done?
Isn't that cool? What do you think? Now you got pure real estate.
You ruined my monitors. Why you? I'm gonna kick your furry little you big son of a...
What?
I'm gonna make it my life's mission to hunt you down and fill you so full of lead, you're gonna have to use your dick for a pencil.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
I don't know. What am I gonna do? You ruined them. My monitors.
No.
My beautiful, beautiful monitors.
He said beautiful. I knew he liked it. Yes.
What's up?
He loves it. Wow. Well, hey, Derek, I gotta go. I hate to cut you off and everything, but, I gotta make a video, but I'm so glad you liked it. We'll talk to you later. I'll call you soon. Thanks. Wow. So I think that really went well. And I was worried for a little bit there. He looked kind of hyper, but then when he said my beautiful monitors, I knew that he loved it. So I feel really good now. It's like, I don't know, when you do something nice for someone, you don't really expect anything in return. It just gives you like a really warm, fuzzy feeling. And so I have that right now. And Derek, don't feel like you have to pay me back or anything. It's okay. It's just something I wanted to do. And hey, enjoy your new monitor setup. You're going to love it. It's so cool. Okay, let's get back here into this Voyager. So they've had like several different releases here. in the past on different platforms. For example, the previous one was a Debian Bullseye Voyager, which is still available, by the way. That was released in August of 2021, and that was based on the Debian 11 Bullseye with a 5.10 kernel, whereas the newer one, based on 22.04, of course, Jammy Jellyfish, is running the 5.15 LTS kernel, which has got 5 years of updates, which will take you into 2027. So how cool is that? And I really find this intriguing that we got two different environments right out of the box like this, all unified in a single distribution. So I gotta grab this, I'm gonna download it, and we'll pop right in to take a look at it. Cool. Okay, I'm in the Voyager boot screen here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the try or install Voyager and boot this in, and I have a feeling it's gonna have the regular normal kind of Ubuntu style installer here coming up during the boot up. So we'll just jump right in the installer and pop this in real quick and see what it's like to have our dual environment installed out of the box and kind of get an idea of what our experience is like. So we can check out both the GNOME and the Xfce. This is cool. Okay, here we are at our try or install boot screen here. So I'm just going to go right directly into the install and hit that, and then we'll just kind of get right to it. So here by default we got English, and I'm just going to go with that. And then normal installation, yes, I want to do that. And I definitely want to check the box that says install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. That'll make sure that you have your codecs and all that other good stuff on there. So you definitely want that. And then your Wi-Fi and so forth to be available too. So you're gonna be more assured to have your proper drivers by installing that. Then we'll just continue here. And then I'm gonna choose erase disk. So I'm gonna go with that and then just hit install now. Easy peasy. And then we'll say yes to continue to write the changes because we're just installing over the whole thing. And then our time zone looks good here. Our locale, New York, that works for me. And then we'll just put in a funny username like we always do, and then a strong and complicated password. And this one really is. All right. And I like how they have the use Active Directory option in there. That's kind of cool too. Okay, and we're off. So now it's going to go ahead and do its install. So I'll pause the video here for a second, and then after the install is complete, I'll be back. Okay, it looks like the install is complete. That's great. So I'm going to just go ahead and restart this. Then we'll see how it goes. Okay, rebooting now. And if everything went well, we should be seeing a login screen here pretty shortly. Nice looking boot up screen there. I like the logo. All right, so it looks like it went okay. I'm gonna just get logged in here. We should be coming to our desktop any second now. Okay, and here we are logged in. And it looks like we got our GNOME in here by default, GNOME. And this looks really nice off the bat. I like the layout here with the bar down in the bottom. It kind of looks Mac OS 10-ish. Okay, and the updates are complete, and it's asking for a restart. So I'm gonna just say restart now, let it restart. And the nice thing about being on video is I can pause it so you don't have to wait so long. So I'll be back right after the boot up, and then we'll continue onward. And there we are, fresh. So this is really a beautiful screen. And the GNOME 42 on this Ubuntu, so far I'm really liking it. We got our transparent top panel here, and then our bottom panel here, giving it the matte kind of look down there. And so if I hit this, it should take us over to our activities section here. And of course, you can also get there just by hitting your Windows or Super key, and it'll take you in there. Or if you press Super key A, it'll take you directly into the menu, which is cool. If you go in the long way though, like this, then you can just hit the menu down here, but you can also do that without even going into the activities. So that's the long way. But this is a really nice layout. I really like this, how they got all these folders in here ahead of time. A lot of GNOME distros seem to have everything kind of loose. And so this is organized really nice, and I like how they did that. To me, that's something how I would probably do it. And so here we have our accessories, and again, a beautiful layout, and they got KeePass installed by default. That's great. KeePass is something I highly recommend for storing your passwords. It's really a secure way to keep track of all your passwords, and it's really convenient because you can open up KeePass and just hit a copy and copy your password and paste it right in where you want to go. Also have a passwords and keys manager, startup disk creator, which is handy if you like making startup thumb drives and so forth. Very cool. Yeah, it's kind of French. I think this is actually a French distro, if I remember right. I could be wrong, but I thought I read that on the website. And then our accessories, and I like the character map. That's kind of cool that that's in there. Always like those. Nice conky utility there. Cool. And then we can come in here to games, and we got Mines, one of my favorite classic, and N Invaders. Cool. That must be like a Space Invader clone. Got to take a quick look. So it looks like it's terminal based. That's kind of cool. And if you hit space, wow, it's all made with the ASCII characters, and you just use your arrow keys and space bar to fire. Nice. I like it. That's pretty clever. Very cool. Not bad. Onward and upward. So games, yeah, and solitaire as well. And then here on our graphics, they got pre-installed GIMP right out of the box. That's nice to see. And then file viewer for PDF files, LibreOffice Draw, which is another fantastic program, and Shotwell, document scanner, image magic. Nice. And I like you can just click off to the side there and get back out of it. So that's very convenient too. Then we have in our internet, we have Thunderbird for our email client, Pigeon for our messenger, Callbird, which I'm not really sure what that is. Then we got Ramina and Transmission. I don't see an internet browser, so interesting. And so this must be like a utility related to Twitter. Neat. And by the way, Firefox is down here in the menu. It's just not up here in the internet folder here. So I'm assuming that the Firefox down here is probably a snap, and that's probably why you don't see it up there. I'm assuming, even though snaps typically will show up in your menu, but I'm thinking that's probably why. And then we got LibreOffice Suite installed here, so that's good. Nice Office Suite. And then under sound and video, our Gnome video player, Rhythm Box, music, TV, which is a video editor, Pulse Effects, which you can add for your sound, and then Cheese, which is a cool webcam app there. And then for system, we have our OS uninstaller. That's kind of interesting. I'm assuming that might be for like if you want to uninstall either Gnome or Xfce, you can probably open this up and it'll probably give you an option to easily take those out. Let's find out. So scanning the system now and trying to find out. Of course, it might be something else too, you know, like if you have another system installed side by side. But here's strongly recommended to update just in case it's not the latest. But it should be because we just ran an update. Now it's asking me again, so yeah, I'm just going to say no on that. And so it's okay, so I guess it's really actually looking for an actual OS, not the desktop. So my bad there. And there shouldn't be any other OSs on here because I erased the disk. So this is kind of redundant, and I'm just going to probably just jump out of this. But it came up anyway. And what it's asking for is it detected the OS that's currently installed. And of course, I don't want to uninstall it. It kind of bothers me a little bit that it gives you the choice to uninstall it. I'm assuming it would probably stop me though and say this is the only OS. But yeah, I'd be careful with this one, not to run that if this is the only operating system. Otherwise, you'll delete yourself. Go delete yourself. And then under preferences, we got our firewall config, tweaks, menu editor, calendar, and extensions. So let's see what extensions we got on here. I'm assuming since we have an icon here, we probably have desktop extension and so forth. So this is kind of cool. So burn my windows, can give you a cool Windows effect, history, compiz, effects, like the magic lamp and so forth, off by default. And then you have Windows effects. So now if I went like that, it goes yoink, and that is from the magic lamp effect. And the wobbly windows I just turned on. So if I go like that, it wobbles. Very cool. I like it. And so those are off by default because they use extra resources. However, if you got a relatively new computer, that won't matter. And then our desktop, DuckDuckGo. So a lot of different extensions here, typically with an internet radio. Nice. And that's this right up here in the taskbar. So a lot of cool extensions. Wow, a ton of them. And like I was about to say, typically if you have a vanilla GNOME install that you have on your computer, typically I recommend that you just leave it alone, especially if you're running like Arch something like that, because these extensions tend to break every time Gnome does an update. That's the nature of Gnome. So if you like extensions and you want your Gnome to look different than the way it is by default, like having a taskbar at the bottom that shows up all the time and being able to put icons on your desktop and stuff like that, if you like that, this is the kind of distro that you want to have, is something Ubuntu based, because they hold off long enough so the extensions can get fixed after an update. So you won't get an update until the extensions are actually working, and then you'll get the update, so you'll never see the headaches. And so that's kind of what I recommend personally. So extensions, that's easy to find. And then it also has the tweaks up here. I'm thinking that's Gnome Tweaks, but I thought Gnome Tweaks was kind of replaced with something else, but could be wrong there. I don't use Gnome a lot, but in a distro like this with all these cool extensions, this is actually how I would enjoy Gnome, actually, with this kind of setup. To me, this is really nice. And here we can change our appearance here, and we're using the white Sur dark. So this is a little different because we got a little bit more choice here with our dark and light themes, and then choosing different themes. Some of the GNOME-based distros I've looked at really didn't have anything more than a dark and light button, and that was it. So it looks like you get a little bit more choices here, and here you can change your icon themes if you want something other than the GNOME theme. Really nice. And then here you can set your fonts, and then you got keyboard and mouse settings, and a lot of great choices there. Emacs input, extended input sources, if you want to have more stuff to choose from in your keyboard, especially if you're messing with languages and so forth. And then your mouse here, if you're a lefty, then you can change to right super, or if you have a different kind of keyboard there. And so a lot of layout options there. And then for your mouse, same thing. And you got your startup apps, top bar settings. So here you can set your options for your clock. You can add in the weekday, date. If you want seconds in there, you can click that, and then the seconds show up here up above instantly. And then you can even add week numbers in your calendar. When you click on this, you get your calendar, and if you want to see the week numbers, you can do that as well just by clicking this guy. And now they're up here under week numbers. So for example, the week we're in right now, May 6th, is the 18th week. Nice. So we got our numbers right here over on the left hand side of the calendar just by clicking that. So that's pretty cool. And then title bars in the windows, and here you can set your settings to adjust your title bar. And by default, we got our window buttons on the right, but if we want them on the left, like a real Mac, we can hit that, and suddenly our window buttons are over here. So if you're kind of a Mac fan, or you're coming over from a Mac, that might be a tweak that you might want to make. Move your window buttons over here to the left rather than to the right. So that's how you do that, in case you were wondering. And then our window settings. Excellent. So there you go with tweaks. And speaking of top bar, here we have in here by default, we got an auto suspend screensaver, which is disabled. You can turn that on right there. Then you got your clipboard. Then we got the internet radio and a bunch of cool radio stations. I like that the radio is right up in there. I like those taskbar radio apps. So that's nice to see too. And then we're in our first workspace for our desktop. And then this is instant access to our terminal. So if you need to get in your console, there it is. And I wonder by chance if HTOP is installed. And it's not. That's okay. I can just do a sudo apt install HTOP, and we'll pop that in real quick and just kind of get an idea of what our resource usage is. And then I'll just run it, and we'll make it bigger real quick. And it looks like we're using just over right around a gig of RAM. So that's not bad for GNOME. Actually, that's lighter than a lot of GNOME distros. Usually I'm up around 1.2, and I've already run a few things. So that's pretty lightweight. I'm impressed with that. Glad to see that. Nice. So that's another plus. And then we got our settings over here, quick access to everything. So this menu will just get you right in here to your connection settings, tweaks, extensions. And let's jump into our settings so it starts off here with network, and we got our network settings, and these are all the usual things that you typically find in GNOME. And then we have our background settings, and I really love that background. I think I'm just probably gonna stick with that because it looks really nice. I kind of like that desert scape, but really good ones here. And there's the default Jammy Jellyfish, and that's a really nice wallpaper. That's another one I like, and that's kind of cool. Very vivid colors there. Nice. And I tend to see colors vividly anyway, so Double cool. And I lost that desert wallpaper. Wow, I like it. Well, okay, that'll make a nice substitute. I don't know what happened to the desert one. Doesn't look like it's in the collection. So if you really like that, you might want to save it first somehow. So cool. But I'm good with this. And then we'll jump over here, and here's our appearance settings. This is the basic one I was referring to when we were in Tweaks. In Tweaks, it gave us a lot more options to change our icons and all that. And so I was really glad to see that. And so here we can set our dark settings, and I like that. That's looking good. And the orange accent is really nice. But if you like a different accent, you can come over here and just hit another color and get green. We can do blue or purple. I'm liking it. Wow, purple looks fantastic, actually. I think I might go with that. That's cool. And then here you can adjust the size of your desktop icons. So right now they're normal, and there's only one icon out there. And thanks to the extension, we have desktop icons. Typically on Gnome, you're not allowed to use icons. They won't let you unless you put an extension on. So that was a change they made quite a while ago. And a lot of people complained about it, but the Gnome team said, well, like it or lump it. And then so here you can turn on your personal folder or turn it off, and that's what we got over here. Then you can auto hide the dock, which auto hides by default, and I'm not sure what dock they're referring to because it is on, but supposedly, yeah, okay, so it's the bottom dock. If you bring this window down, then dock auto hide. So that's all looking good. And our display settings, dock behavior, you want to change some things in your dock, you can do that here. You can turn the trash on and off. You want to see the volume control, you can turn that on and it'll show up in your dock somewhere, even though I'm not seeing it right off the bat. And then more settings here, all the typical stuff, typically that you're seeing in probably a million other GNOME videos. And by the way, under privacy, here you have location services. So before, if you turned on location services and you regretted that, or you didn't turn it on and you regretted it, this is where you can go and toggle it. So right here, this will turn on the location services and turn it off there. So that's where that is, just in case that ever becomes a thing. Then we have our keyboard, mouse, and touchpad. So if you want to set your mouse for a lefty, then you can come over here and click the right button, and then the right hand button will be your left click, or your main click, equivalent to left click. So that's where you can reverse your clicks there, and your keyboard settings, printers, removable media, accessory, user settings. Here you can change your avatar and put something else in there and grab a default. And the guitar one's kind of cool. I'd probably go with that. And you can also change your password. Toggle this button here and it will automatically log in if you get tired of logging in and you don't have any worries about somebody getting on your computer. Then you can do that. Before changing some of these settings, you got to come up here and hit unlock, and then that'll allow you to do things like change your password. And here you can change your default applications. So if you install a different web browser, you can go here and select something else. And same applies to all these other. If you change something else, get a different kind of calendar, music player, whatever, you can change your default right here pretty easy. And then our date and time settings, and you can change your time zone if it happens to be off. I like the time format at 24 hours, so I'm leaving it there. But if you like a 12-hour, then you can select AM, PM there, and you'll get the 12-hour setting. And then finally our about. So here it's showing us that we're running Ubuntu 22.04 on a 64-bit system, and we're running GNOME version 42 with Wayland. Nice. Then it'll open up our software center and show you this stuff and your settings for your software. So that's our settings. And so down here we got our lower bar, and we have our web browser, files, and this is our file viewer, which I'm assuming is either Nautilus or Nemo. Probably Nautilus. Let's hit about. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's Nautilus. It says the Nautilus project. So that is pretty standard with GNOME. Love the icons there. They look really great. And then our text editor, our notes, agenda app, privacy settings, I think. Then we got Minitube. That looks interesting. And I think I hit Firefox there. So anyways, under Firefox, and then I'll come back to Minitube. Let's just double check our about here. And it looks like we're using version 100. So latest and greatest there. And I'm pretty sure that's a snap as well, because typically you get snaps on Ubuntu on your browser. And then here we got Minitube. So we can put a keyword in here like that Jack guy that I like to watch. all the time. And we come up here and there's a bunch of videos. Nice. And they look kind of cool. And so I'm just going to hit wait there. And something's starting up. Wow. Hey everyone, it's Jack, and today I'm out at the MX Linux website to take a look at MX Linux. Cool. I like that. This is a really cool distro that I'm super excited. And then here's your controls up here so you can control. So apparently it's streaming these, I'm guessing maybe from YouTube, possibly library, because my videos are on library too, so it might be pulling them off of there. I'm not really sure, but that's kind of cool. I like that. That's an app that I haven't seen before. Then we have our software center, and then box Voyager Gnome, show desktop, trash, and our app launcher. I don't know what this box Voyager Gnome is. I'll just kind of open that up. And so I'll just hit something and go like that. And so it looks like it changed our Windows decorations there, maybe? I'm not really sure. So it looks like it kind of changes our theming a little bit, which is kind of cool. But actually, I just don't know what I'm doing with it. So anyways, it's got some kind of night mode on here, and it switches back to the night mode. So it is nighttime. I guess if I wanted to go to day mode, I could click this and it would make it brighter. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So there you go for that. And then finally our GNOME Software Center. And that launched right away. That was pretty zippy. I'm impressed. Usually that takes a minute the first time you launch it because it's got to populate everything, but it popped right in there. So that is a big plus there. I like that. And so here we got all our different apps here. We got like Kden Live. And so when you come up here, you can see up here in our source box, we got a snap by default, but it's also available in FlatHub as a flat pack and straight from the repository right here for an Ubuntu deb. So if you like it straight out of the repository, that's the place you can do it. Personally, I'd probably go with a flat pack to get the latest and greatest. Just my taste. Otherwise, I'd go with a snap. I'm good with those. Software Center. So now that we did all that, let's jump out of here. Let's take a look at the Xfce real quick, because we kind of gave the whole once over to the GNOME, but Xfce is also on here. So I think to get to that, we just log out here. And once we're back at our login prompt, we should be able to go up and take a look at it. Maybe it's down here on the settings. There it is, Xfce session. And by the way, if you don't want to use Wayland and GNOME, you can use Ubuntu on Xorg. And so that'll give you the X environment instead of Wayland if you're having issues with Wayland. So that's where you want to go if you want to stay in GNOME and use X. So let's go into Xfce session and see what it looks like real quick. And we won't have to get as in-depth on the Xfce, but I really like to do a comparison since we got both. After all, this is a dual desktop install. So there we go. Wow, I am liking it. This is a great layout. How cool. I'm going to just change my display settings here real quick. I'm going to go in here to settings and hit display. Go to 1920 by 1080 and apply that, and we'll keep it. All right. Wow, this is beautiful. Wow. Totally didn't expect to see the Xfce look this good. And we even have a sidebar over here with some, looks like settings here. This is cool. I'm going to hit that. So this will turn on and off your wireless, kind of like airplane mode. And then you can turn off your T-pad. See what Voyager is. Oh, okay, so you can change your Firefox profile there. Nice, cool. And start it. These are pretty handy utilities here off on the side. And then we got more things over here. Even the weather. Wow, loving it. Quick access to your calendar. If I hit that, beautiful calendar. Oh, wow, Xfce is really over the top here. This is way above what I expected. This is a real surprise, really. I am loving it. Okay, and then this is an info box. Cool, brings up a terminal and gives us a NeoFetch here and showing our version here in Xfce 4.16. Really fantastic, loving it. And that's that box thingy that we saw before. And then this arrow, I think, is probably switches us over to the first workspace if you're in the second, I'm thinking. And this arrow probably takes you maybe to the other one. I don't know. Or it could be related to monitors if you have multi-monitors. And then we have this Voyager thing, which I think we were just in that. And this might be our KeyPass. And this is a utility that I'm not totally familiar with, but it looks like something that you can mount volumes with, like maybe if you have an ISO file or something like that, you might be able to mount that right there, but not 100% sure. And then these are our network settings, show up down here on a conky, show your activity apparently. And that also auto hides, I see. So nice. Wow. And then in our top bar here, our panel, we have, again, easy access to our terminal. And if I do htop, we're using 854 meg, so a lot less here than we did in Gnome. So that's nice to see too. Really nice. If I hit this again, that should pop back up. And then we got our Synapse. So you can do a quick search here for anything that might be installed, like maybe GIMP. And I'm getting a comma there in place of my M. So my locale settings might be actually off here. That might be like a French keyboard layout. So that's something I'd probably want to tweak. Let's see if that shows up here too. Yeah, getting a comma when I hit the M. So I'm going to pop into my settings here. Actually, I didn't even have to do that because I see it up here. We got the French flag here. So I'm going to hit that, maybe right click on it, jump into properties maybe, or not, keyboard settings maybe. Okay, and under layout here we got French, and so I would want to change that personally. So to do that, I think I might need to go up into our keyboard settings over here. I'm thinking maybe here and layout. Well, actually that put me in the same spot, so maybe not. How about if I uncheck system default? There we go. Now that we did that, now we can change our layout. So I'm going to close the other one here because they're really essentially the same thing. So I need to pick my country here. So if I hit add, then I can go in here and find English, which we got here. See, English US, and hit that. And then we can actually remove French, but I'll just put it on the bottom first and just kind of see how that works. So now we got our American flag up there. So now if I hit the letter M, it should be M. Nice. Okay, excellent. So that fixed that. All right. Then we have our notification settings and some kind of thingy. Oh, that's the Siri Kali, which I'm not quite sure what that is. And then our network settings and our power settings. If you don't like the screensaver coming on or having it go into lock and all that, you can simply go into presentation mode. And then when you want to restore your power settings, just toggle that off and you're good to go. And then there's our calendar that's attached to the taskbar. Nice. And then our volume settings. And there's Good Vibes, the radio player, which I really like. That is really cool to see. And then here is our logout and restart, shutdown, and all that right there at the very end. And then over here, if we hit that, it gives us our full activities. So that's pretty cool too. And if I wanted to take this and move it, I could put it over here on the second desktop, and then I could quickly switch over to the second desktop, and I can also go back the same way. Or I click in this guy and just sliding it up. See, you can do it right from there or here. So nice. And that's a nice easy way to switch between workspaces as well. I'm liking it. And then of course here's our menu. And like the way the menu's laid out, that's really nice. That is cool. So that's a cool change of pace there. And if for some reason you want this on the other side, you can reverse that just by going into properties after right clicking on your launcher icon. And then if you go to appearance, you can position categories next to panel button. When you hit that, then when you go up here, your categories are over here on the left hand side. So if you like a left-hand category layout, that's the way you can do that. And also if you want your categories to change by hovering, then you can click on behavior and select switch categories by hovering. And now they'll switch as you hover over them. Pretty cool. And this should have really basically the same apps. There shouldn't really be anything different there. Under games, looks like we got some more games though. That's kind of cool. Got Pac-Man in there and Sudoku, Mahjong, chess, greed. Nice, that's cool. And then under graphics, of course, all our main apps should be the same. Here we got our Firefox web browser showing up here. And then down here, the icon's different in the bar. So that's kind of interesting. And then all our multimedia apps that we were looking at before, there's simple screen recorder. I didn't see that before. So I wonder if that's just kind of targeted towards the Xfce or if I just missed it. That's interesting. And then all of our settings and our system. Of course, settings here, now you would have your Xfce settings, which we were looking at before. And when you go to appearance, then you have your Xfce adjustments here rather than the Gnome one. So this really is separated really nice here. And I like the theming. The desert teal light is cool. I would also go with the dark. I'm liking that as well. And then for your icons, we're using the standard Gnome icons. So if I open up our file manager, which should be Thunar, and here we have our Gnome icons. And so if you want to change those for a different look, you can pop one of these in here like humanity. I'm kind of liking that. We got Elementary Xfce, Humanity again. Then we have our Numix, and they look cool. Pyrus, Reversal. We got Orange. We got Orange for Dark Theme, which is what we'd want to use with this. And then we got our Ubuntu, of course, or our Ubuntu look. And then our Yaru. And Yaru has some really nice, this is what we were looking at in our Gnome. That's the blue version, and I really like that. I think I'm going to keep that. Excellent. So that's another difference, is the appearance. And loving the bar, the same layout, the Mac style. Very cool. And then we have our window buttons over here. And now in Xfce, if you want to change your window buttons over, all we got to do is jump into our settings here. And then I believe it's under Window Manager Tweaks, if I remember right. Or not. Actually, that might be Window Manager, maybe. There we go. And so over here, I think it's under maybe Advanced or Style here. We have our title font adjustment and so forth, button layout. So here under your button layout, you got your buttons over here. So all you got to do is just kind of drag them over. So you can take that and move it over here, and then your square, and then your X. Actually, I would kind of do that in reverse order. So you'd have your X, and then this guy, and minimize. So now your buttons are over here on the left side. So it's as easy as just dragging your buttons inside the window manager. And now your buttons are over here on the left side. Cool. So for you Mac fans, that's how you change that. Nice. And for you non-Mac fans, I'll switch them back so nobody's confused. All right. So there you go. Nice. And then of course, changing your wallpaper is as easy as right-clicking on your desktop, selecting desktop settings, and then you got all your backgrounds here, which I'm not seeing. So I'm going to, oh, there they are. They're just populating. Cool. Wow, it must be a lot of papers there. Wow, huge selection. Another surprise I didn't see coming in Xfce. And if I was installing this as a daily driver, I'd probably be running the Xfce anyway, because personally I like it better than Gnome. And there's that Desertscape that we have. So you don't lose it in Xfce. If you want to change wallpapers, you can still go back to it. So that's good to know. And then we have nice flower background. That's pretty cool. And some kind of high contrast thingy car. Wow, a bus in the middle of the desert. Somebody looking at a chalkboard or looking at something. Computer screen, double cool. Yeah, and then some cool thingies. Little cool artwork there going on. And just tons of stuff to look at. Wow. This is just fantastic. What a huge variety of wallpaper. I could probably spend another half hour just going through all this wallpaper. This is outstanding. A+ for the wallpaper. This is great. Huge variety. That's the most wallpaper I think I've ever seen pre-installed. So I am liking that. And so I'm guessing you could probably access that through the Gnome as well, just by navigating to the Xfce folder. If I remember right, I think you can navigate in Gnome. Can't say that for 100% sure, but I think so. And again, if you want to change your mugshot, in case you missed that, what I did was I went here at the bottom of our launcher and it just clicked on my icon and it brought up my mugshot utility. And there's my guitar. So that's what I have selected. But otherwise you can select from stock and choose more. And you actually have a bigger variety here. I didn't see that many in the Gnome, so more choices here. If I wanted to be a penguin instead, I could just change it right there. So cool and groovy. And then hit apply. Nice. I gotta tell you, I'm blown away with this. This Voyager is really fantastic. Oh my gosh. This is something I would totally use on a laptop or one of my other computers for sure. If I had to run this as a daily driver, I'd be happy with it. In fact, this is usable. This is beyond usable. It's just a great experience. I love this. And the fact that I can just kind of switch back and forth between Gnome and Xfce anytime I want, and they have it separated really nice, that is fantastic. This is a great project. I would totally recommend this for sure. And the unique layout that's here is just beautiful. I love the Mac style that it's got, the feel. Everything is done just right. I think the aesthetics are gorgeous. It's set up for language. The top bar and even the launcher is just really beautiful. And the amazing array of wallpaper. Wow. Beautiful icons. Everything about this distro just says wow. And so that's my reaction. Wow. You got to try this. So if you're looking for something different, and especially if you want something maybe more Ubuntu based, maybe you're getting tired of what you're using now, give it a shot. Load it into VM or just put it on an extra machine and see what you think. Use it for a while. I think I'm going to play with it for a while. This is something that looks like I could explore a long time and probably discover a lot more. When you get a really cool distro, sometimes that happens. You just kind of discover things along the way. 3 days later, you find something and wow, I didn't know I could do that. So there you go. And there's a screensaver. And I like that. It's showing the current time. Really cool. I love it. It's kind of a 70s style clock, like an alarm clock or something. That is neat. So with that, I'm telling you, go for it. This is a great distro. I've never heard of Voyager. I hate to admit that, but I haven't. This was something I just stumbled across here a couple days ago, and I'm really glad I did because this is something I'm keeping an eye on. Voyager is just that. I feel like I'm on a voyage of discovery when I'm in this because there's so much to look at and so much to see, and having two different desktops that I can choose from at will, and they're both unique in their own ways. I think that really says something for the team and the developers. Wow. So yes, beyond impressed, and I think you will be too. Not only impressed, but I also hope that you found this video helpful. And if you did, don't forget to leave that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.